IVM.
Hey guys, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. And I'm kind of excited to be doing today's episode because today's episode is about a term, a word that I'm constantly asked about. I'm talking about self-belief and conviction today. But before I go on, I also want you to listen to the episode called Fitting In. In that episode, I spoke about how we put so much attention on fitting in while we should actually focus on making space for ourselves. Well, how do we make space for ourselves? By building our own self-belief and conviction. Every time that I've been asked about self-belief and conviction, more about self-belief rather than conviction. Conviction is my word that I eventually give people. But every time I'm asked about it, I wonder why is it so hard for all of us? And I say this from my heart. Every single one of us finds it hard to believe in ourselves. I do too. Yes, whether you believe it or not, I do too. But I have certain tools that I put into place and it works. It gets me out of that space within seconds. So I'm going to share those tools with you today. Let me first break down self-belief for you. So very recently on my Instagram, on Insta Stories, I've started putting up certain posts that I call truth bombs. And what I do in those is that I'm calling all of us out on silly behaviors that we have. And one of the things I spoke about last week was validation. And the truth bomb that I dropped on everybody was that validation comes from the result of the efforts that I put in and not by other people appreciating or acknowledging me. Validation is about me acknowledging my own efforts and saying, look what I have accomplished. When I achieve a goal successfully, when I complete something that I set out to do, when I succeed, I am validating myself. I am not validated when my mum or my dad or my colleagues or my boss or my partner, husband, wife, friends, when anyone tells me, oh wow, look what you are doing, you are awesome. I'm not validated by that. That is an illusion. It lasts only for a few seconds and then once again, it leaves you wanting for so much more. So I want you to think about this. You need to learn to validate yourself. And that brings me back to self-belief. Why is it that we don't believe in ourselves? Well, because we don't know how to validate our own selves. Does that make sense to you? When this thought struck me, it was one of the most beautiful aha moments that I've had. Because I'm constantly listening to clients say, but I don't believe in myself. And I'm responding with but if you don't believe in yourself, then who will? You know, I used to also say, and I still say this to my clients, when you don't have faith, take some from me. So I'm going to tell you to try something. I want you to write down 3 things that you believe about yourself. I understand that you say that you don't believe in yourself. I want you to write 3 things that you believe about yourself. This can be a good belief or a bad belief. It has to be a single sentence. It has to be simple and straightforward. Don't go into if, but, conditions and complications. I believe I am an easygoing person. I believe I am clumsy. I believe I'm not good enough. I believe I cannot do what I set out to do. I believe I'm not disciplined. I believe I will never lose weight. I believe I will never be loved. I believe I don't deserve love. Whatever beliefs you have about yourself, I just want you to write 3 of them. Now, once you have written that down, I want you to write whether it's true or false. Yes, I know you believe it, but that doesn't make it true or false. It just makes it your truth. If you ask me or if you tell me, but I believe that I don't deserve love, my response to you is everyone deserves love and so do you. So that makes that statement a false statement. It could be your truth, but it's not entirely true. Now, once you have marked these statements as true or false, for the ones that you have written false or you have marked as false, I want you to write, why do you believe that about yourself? What makes you think that that is your truth? And once you have done that, the 3rd step is to write down the real truth. So for example, if your statement is, I believe I don't deserve love, or I believe that I will not get love or I will not be loved. What makes you believe this? Is this because of certain behaviors from certain people that you faced as a child? Is it because of some things that were told to you on repeat? Is it because an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend cheated on you? Is it because you don't think you are pretty enough? You have body issues. You think you are fat, thin, curly hair, not good hair, whatever it is. What makes you believe that you will not be loved or don't deserve to be loved? And once you have done that, what is the real truth? Think about it. If you look around you, you will see people who are in worse situations or in description, and I'm sorry I'm being vain over here, but possibly look worse than you. Maybe they are fatter than you, thinner than you, they are bald, they're obnoxious. All kinds of reasons will come up, and you will realize that they are in a relationship, they have love, they have a good family, etc., etc. And what does that tell you then? What is the real truth? That you will be loved and you deserve to be loved, and you just need to figure out how to make yourself believe it. That's the real truth. Yes, I understand there's a how in that statement, but that comes later. So once you have done this, then I come to the next part, which is about building conviction. Now, why do I say building conviction? Because if you are not convinced about your own self, then you cannot convince anyone else about your own self, firstly. Secondly, if you have conviction, you will realize you don't need to convince anyone about anything. When you are struggling to convince somebody about something, you don't wholly believe in it. You don't have all the facts or you don't have all the information. That's when we argue so much. But when you have conviction, you will realize that you will take 2 steps back. The moment you see the other person is stubborn or not willing to listen to a different point of view, and you will stand in your belief and your truth with complete ease. That is what conviction is. Now, how do you build conviction? You build conviction in your own self. You build self-belief in your own self by acknowledging things about yourself. So here's the exercise that you are going to do every single day. At the end of the day, you're going to answer this question, and you will answer this in writing or on your phone in the notepad. You will not answer it in your head. The question is, what do I acknowledge about myself today? Now understand, acknowledge can be translated as appreciate about myself, as well as what did I learn about myself today. It can be either of these as well. So the question is, what am I acknowledging, appreciating about myself, or what did I learn about myself today? Every single day for the next 21 days, you are going to answer this question. And I promise you this, you will find yourself believing in your own self a lot more. Acknowledge yourself, validate your own sense of self, and you will not need to hear it from others. And with that, I'm going to sign off from today's episode. I want to let you know that I'm doing an episode on travel anxiety, on grief. There's even one coming up on drawing boundaries and friendship. So stay tuned and keep listening to the Positively Unlimited podcast. All previous episodes are on the IVM app as well as the IVM website. So until Monday, keep building belief in your own self.
Hey Kripa, check out my beatboxing. Boots and cats and boots and cats.
Hey man,
and
please
boots
stop.
And cats. Alright, check out my singing.
No, I'm serious, stop.
But why?
Because you're genuinely bad and because you've got actual talent to showcase. Presenting the ATKT Talent Time podcast, where I, Krupa,
An IP man, chat with some immensely talented college students about the fun part of college, like freshers' life, the music and poetry scene, side hustles for college students.
and the not so fun, like weird dress codes, hostel deadlines, and ragging.
New episodes every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast app, the IVM Podcast website, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. Hey Kripa, check out my poetry. Roses are red,
No.
violets
No,
are blue.
no.
You are special.
Please stop.
Filter coffee is a fascinating beverage. You need to pick the right beans, blend them in the right proportion, roast them to perfection, and slow brew at the right temperature to get the perfect cup. which is exactly like great conversations as well. You need to track down the most interesting minds, get them into their zone, and settle down for an unhurried, unscripted chat. And coffee for me is always, always, always best enjoyed with friends. I'm Karthik Nagarajan, and do share my table as I meet some of the most interesting people I know and sit them down for a strong cup of coffee and an even stronger conversation. Join me every Wednesday for a freshly brewed episode. This is not frappe. This is the Filter Coffee Podcast.